Hello, we're back. I'm gonna keep the talking in the car to a minimum because I'm just ready to train. We're doing a deadlift session. We have some bench. I have a sneaking suspicion I was supposed to do like a wrist wrap bench or like a block bench. I have a sneaking suspicion that I have forgotten my wrist wrap. So if that is the case, we may have to change it to be like a pin or a spoto. But we shall see. But yeah, we've got some deadlifts, we've got some bench. Pretty sure today is the day that I do some reverse hypers. And I've like got other things like some rows, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that is what I'll be doing. I will catch you in the gym. I'm in the gym by myself again. To be fair, it is earlier morning. I do prefer to train earlier in the morning because it's just like one big thing off my to-do list in the day. But today we have a 4x4 on deadlifts. And as I chat to you, I'm going to warm up at the same time. So I mentioned previously how I'm kind of treating my deadlifts a little bit different this prep. Previous preps, I've definitely pushed on the harder side of things. Like I noticed my Western Euros prep last year, I pushed my deadlift really quite hard towards the end of my peak. And it resulted in my deadlifts feeling a little bit lackluster on the day. So what I did is I took a look at some of my old preps that I did. Took a look at some of the numbers, took a look at some of the, if I say like the dosage, I'm relating to RPE when I say that. And realised, actually Suzanne, some of the competitions where your deadlift has performed the best, you've really gone for like minimum dose, just giving yourself enough intensity. Like I haven't pushed it so hard basically. So what I'm doing, which is something that I do for some of my clients who overshoot, is I'm giving myself a load cap. Crazy. Now what's a load cap? A load cap is basically like a hard cut on what you're allowed to do on the day. So for me, my load cap today is 162.5. Or is it actually, I don't know if it's 162 or 165. It's 165. So I've got 4x4. Doesn't mean straight sets, you know, I might start my sets at like, I don't know, 157 or 160, but my load cap is 165. So I'm not allowed to go above that. Why am I doing that? Well, it will just stop me from pushing too hard too soon, basically. I clearly don't need as much intensity as I sometimes give myself, or at least sometimes it's the situation of something feeling good, and when it's feeling good you end up pushing a little bit harder, and that can work well for some things, some movements, but you know, if I'm not coming into competition feeling recovered, and I'm not, what I say feeling recovered, look, sometimes you go into competition, you don't feel better at all. You just perform better, right? But if I'm going into competition and a lift is feeling particularly bad and moving really like not well, like kind of sluggish, kind of indicating, hey, taper has not tapered very nicely, or you needed more of a taper because you bit off more than you can chew in your prep. You know, instead of saying, oh, I'll have a longer taper, I'll just reduce the dosage leading up to competition day. That's essentially what I'm doing with my deadlift. So we have a 4x4, load capped at 165. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go up to 160 and then get started there, to be fair. Happy days. Feels fine. Like, I'm not going to say it feels like crazy good. Definitely feels better than the previous weeks. Previous weeks it felt like I was like deadlifting off of sand. Like it just felt like no matter how much output I was putting in, I was just getting nothing out. So yeah, up we go. Don't touch your legs after putting talc on as well. actually do another set of that and not go up. Maybe I could go up 2.5, but at that point it's like, what is the point in going up 2.5? Like, the load cap is there for a reason. Some people will say like, push the floor away from you, or split the floor with your legs. And those cues have never clicked with me, ever. So if you're someone who's like, oh my God, why? My coach has given me a cue and it just like, I'm not clicking with it. Like, it's just not making sense. You're not weird for it. You might just need something else. You might just need to learn through making mistakes. You might just need to learn through repetition. I'm gonna do another set of this. I don't think I'm gonna go up. The only way I'm gonna go up is if this second set feels easier than the first set, which sometimes happens, because I literally did 71, 21, 40 as my warm-ups. So technically that could have been like a warming up still type situation. Okay, round 2. I've re-chalked my hands, but I haven't re-talced my legs because I think I have enough talc on my legs. I mean, it did feel better. Almost like, what's the benefit of going up 2.5? I'll do it for the sake of doing it. We're still under the load cap. 3rd set now. I never actually cue myself to try and pull fast. I've had like a couple comments before where people have said like, oh my God, like you pull really fast, like you'll pull off the floor, like everything looks so snappy, looks so fast. But I never actually put an emphasis on pulling fast off the floor. I more so put an emphasis on like exquisite execution or like perfect execution, which doesn't sound as fun. But if you're in a good position, the bar can take the path of least resistance. You can then have the ability to pull with a lot of speed. I'm not saying that, you know, pulling with speed intentionally is a bad thing, like there is such a thing as like doing speed reps and stuff, but you're doing that shit with like 45-30% of your 1 rep max, like very, very light weights. I'm not cueing myself to pull fast. I'm not telling myself to pull fast. When I'm deadlifting, I choose not to think, I choose to just do. So like all of these things that I tell myself, like, you know, good positioning, good da-da-da, I'm not thinking those things as I'm pulling. I'm more so telling myself these things as a point of reflection. Because in the moment of you doing it, I actually think thinking during the lift doesn't work well for me. Works well for some other people, like they can really think about what they're doing and so on and so forth. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't work well for me because I can't focus on what I'm doing if I am not fully doing it. If I'm thinking about, oh yeah, you know, like my big toe into the ground, no, I just need to do it. I needed more talc. Oh, I needed more talc. You see that red mark on my leg? Oh! Body weight this morning was 65.8, I believe, which is a little bit high for me, actually. I've been weighing pretty consistently, like 65.5, 65.6. Had my dinner a little bit late last night, so 65.5. The 65.8, sorry, but I personally don't do water cuts. I don't fuck around with water cuts. I've got half a kidney, so I'm not doing that shit. I'm not gonna get sick from doing that, essentially. I've never really restricted myself that much going into a competition. I've had to diet down into competing, but usually a lot of the dieting for me happens before peaking, because when I'm peaking, I kind of need to be able to recover from what I'm doing, and I don't want to be in a really steep deficit during that. So yeah, A lot of athletes do not sit under their weight class, they sit over their weight class. So if you're someone who is like killing themselves to try and stay under year round, you're like, God, am I struggling? You're not getting the most out of your training. Let your body weight sit a little bit heavier. And if you are someone that's above, I say in the upper weight class, but you're sitting so low down in terms of body weight in your weight class, don't sweat it. Just take your time. You don't need to force feed yourself. You don't need to push excessively hard because you feel like you need to be within a parameter. Just lift and enjoy life, baby. Oh, that started to hurt my hands. Oh, twist and turn. Done. Happy with that. Now, I've got to see if I have a wrist wrap in my bag for my block presses. If I don't, I've got to either do like a spoto or a pin press. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean that's my range of motion? That's not actually my range of motion. It is what it is. Look, when I first started powerlifting, my unwrap height was a 9 or an 8. I'm pretty sure at that point I was like close gripping, if I'm being honest. Now it's a 5. So, you know, she's eventually learned how to retract her scaps and actually, you know, bench in a way that benefits her. Let's see if this is going to be the right height, because I have no idea if this is going to be the right height. I've done pin presses before, but never in a combo. So, yeah, I hate to say it, but that's low-key bang on. So like with the wrist wrap, it's only going to reduce the range of motion by like this much. I'm kind of trying to replicate it with a pin. It is ever so slightly different because with a pin, like you're kind of resting the bar, but I'll just tell myself, yo, don't like fully rest at the bottom of the pins, but yeah. Okay, let's do 60 kilos. I've got a 4x4 to an RP8. I don't know what that's going to look like 80 kilos? I'm not really sure, because I haven't done a pin press in a while. Yeah, I mean very easy, so we're gonna go up 10. We're gonna go up 10 to 70 kilos. Oh, cheeky me, I'm using the weightlifting FAVS. You might ask, what's the difference? It's covered in rubber, whereas the powerlifting ones, I mean, this is very rusty, but the powerlifting ones are all metal. Yeah, I think maybe 80 kilos. I'm tempted to go like 77, but then I'm also like, well, it needs to be an RB8. I'll go up 10. If it ends up being an overshoot, naughty me. Alright, I'm thinking we'll start counting our sets at 80 kilos now. And you know the drill, I'm putting you there so I can take a look at this arse cheek. Is it lifting? Is it coming off? I don't know. Actually felt quite easy. I'm tempted to go like 82 on my next. I think I might, but I also need to bear in mind that this is not the variation I intended on doing. I'll go up by 2.5, but I'm gonna be cautious because like I don't just want to throw off my whole bench micro this week. whole reason why I had a wrist wrap block bench, or a block bench. I'm calling it wrist wrap because it's slightly smaller than an inch. But the whole purpose of me having that in my training, or having that in my block, is so I can overload my bench a little bit more and take a little bit of stress off my shoulders, essentially. Not that I have poor shoulders, but I'm doing a lot of other pressing work around this session. Like, literally yesterday, I had 8 sets of bench. So, you know, that's a lot of pressing. I think it averaged around about 80 kilos actually yesterday. So yeah, forgive me, I can't remember. I just forget my session as soon as it's done, which is why actually reflecting on these here is nice, because I could watch it back and be like, oh, that's what I did. But yeah, the whole purpose of having a wrist wrap block bench, or a block variation, is so I can take a little bit of stress off my shoulders and overload my bench a little bit more. So I guess a pin press is kind of doing that, but I wanted the aspect of still pausing on my chest. But beggars can't be choosers, because Beggar didn't bring a wrist wrap. Yeah, that felt better. That felt closer to the mark. Definitely. I'm going to stick to this, I think. Cool, with the pin press, I'm definitely noticing that like the point at which I'm bringing the bar down on the pins is varying a lot. When benching, you want to try and like touch the bar on the same point of your chest every single time, especially when doing like reps, right? But with these pin presses, I feel like I'm all about the shop. Like I'm touching a little bit too low, I'm touching a little bit too high. To be fair, like I said, I have just switched the variation at the very last minute. I'll give you a rare back view of my bench. Little bit overshot on that last rep, but done, dusted. Bench is finished. Onto the accessories. Now most people use this as a table because it's just in the gym, but this is like one of the best pieces of kit any powerlifting gym could have, in my humble opinion. So I'm going to be doing this single leg. It's great for your posterior chain, great for your glutes. It's literally, it's good for you. This is like your vegetables and your dessert in one. I'm doing it single leg, just my right side. I'm just doing it with no weight to start off with, and then we'll add some weight to it. It's just so nice because I can actually feel my glute, like I can actually feel it working, doing something. So I'm going to be sensible. It would be very easy to just load on like 60 kilos. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go low and slow. The whole point of me doing this is to help me feel my glute, to help me feel like I'm using that right side more. And it's definitely helped being a little bit more conservative with like loads on this, because like I said previously, I don't want to just like ragdoll the weight. I want to actually control it and feel it in the intended area, instead of just throwing on a bunch of plates just because I'm filming and it looks good. Like, if there's one thing about me, I am never going to betray my training and what I've planned for my training for social media. Ever. I've never done it. I never will. It's fucking stupid, especially if you pay for a coach and you're like, oh, but like, you know, things are feeling good, so I'm going to load it up and film something. No. That is a surefire way to ruin your momentum and be a shitty athlete. So, yeah, we're going to be sensible. I'm going to load like a 10 or something on one side. That is just phenomenal. I love this machine. Done. Done with that. God, I love that. God, I fucking love it. I love it so much. It's just better. It's just better. Like previously I was doing like kickbacks and yeah, they served a purpose, but nothing feels like that. Nothing feels like that. What the fuck is my hair doing? What the fuck is this? Just move it out of the way for now, fuck it. I'm not going to film all of these, otherwise you'll be incredibly bored, but I'll film my last one. That's my last set. Well, that's my session. Thank you for coming along and having a little watch through of my deadlifts and a watch through of my suddenly changed bench. But yeah, as said, I want to film more, I want to show more. If you guys have anything in mind in particular that you want to know or want to see, do let me know. Once again, I do offer powerlifting coaching. You can click through the link that's in the description, which I didn't put in my last video, whoopsie. And we can have a chat about training if you're interested in powerlifting. But yeah, that is my training session. So if you enjoyed the video, do give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more. But other than that, have a lovely, well, I was going to say have a lovely day, but you could be watching this at any point. Have a lovely life, and I'll speak to you soon.